Welcome to the future.
Welcome to 1337, the future of podcast longevity. I'm Max, your host, exploring the science of living longer.
And I'm Sophia, diving into health hacks and ageless living tips. We're here to uncover the secrets to a vibrant, extended life.
Today we're diving deep into the world of Dr. Sean O'Mara, a physician with a unique perspective on longevity. He's analyzed thousands of MRI scans, and what he's found might just turn your assumptions about health upside down.
It's fascinating stuff. Dr. O'Mara is making some bold claims, especially about the dangers of visceral fat.
He says it's a bigger threat than high cholesterol.
Yeah, much bigger.
And he doesn't mince words. He calls visceral fat a silent killer, an active source of inflammation that's constantly contributing to disease.
And speeding up the aging process.
Or as he puts it, diseasing.
I like that, diseasing.
It really grabs your attention, doesn't it? It's not just about how your clothes fit. We're talking about serious health risks that might be lurking beneath the surface, even if your weight seems fine.
Right, exactly.
And get this, Dr. O'Mara claims that in all his years of practice, he's never seen anyone improve their health without reducing visceral fat. That's a pretty powerful statement.
It is, and he backs it up with real-world examples. One that really stood out was the client with multiple sclerosis, or MST. After losing visceral fat, this person experienced a significant reduction in their MS symptoms.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It really drives home the point that inflammation plays a role in so many chronic diseases. And think about this. We often associate visceral fat with that stubborn belly fat.
Right.
But it can be hidden from plain sight. Dr. O'Mara even tells a story about a patient who fainted when he saw how much visceral fat he had on his MRI scan.
Wow.
Talk about a wake-up call.
Really, it's a wake-up call for all of us, right?
Right.
We can't just rely on what we see in the mirror. We need to be proactive about understanding what's happening inside our bodies.
Exactly. And here's another critical point that Dr. O'Mara makes. Losing weight doesn't automatically mean you're reducing visceral fat. You can slim down without addressing the real problem. And conversely, you can make progress even if the number on the scale doesn't budge much.
I see. So you're saying.
One of his clients actually reduced visceral fat and built muscle while staying weight neutral.
Interesting. It's all about changing your body composition, not just chasing a smaller dress size. Dr. O'Mara's approach is about improving your health at a fundamental level.
You know, Dr. O'Mara's path to these insights is pretty interesting. It started with his own personal health transformation.
Oh, I love these origin stories. What sparked his journey?
He completely overhauled his diet,
Mm-hmm.
cutting out processed carbs and embracing fermented foods. The positive changes he experienced firsthand sparked his fascination with visceral fat and its impact on overall well-being.
So he's walking the walk, not just talking the talk. That always adds credibility, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. He's even got this funny story about how after changing his diet, he regained youthful, shall we say, flow, and now he enjoys demonstrating his Niagara Falls in public restrooms.
Okay, maybe a little too much information there, but it definitely shows he's not afraid to be candid and highlight the unexpected benefits of a healthier lifestyle.
He's definitely a colorful character. So how does Dr. O'Mara recommend tackling this hidden enemy, visceral fat?
Well, he takes a multifaceted approach. He addresses diet, exercise, stress management, and even the health of your gut microbiome. He believes it's all connected.
Let's start with diet. Dr. O'Mara considers himself a carnivore physician.
Does that mean he advocates for an all-meat diet?
Well, he prioritizes lean, grass-fed meat, but he also strongly emphasizes the importance of fermented foods for the beneficial effects on the gut microbiome.
Makes sense. We've talked before about how important a diverse gut microbiome is for overall health.
Right. He compares cultivating a diverse microbiome to building Noah's Ark, getting as many different good bacteria in there as possible.
Right.
And it's not just about what you eat. He advises minimizing things like chlorine in water, food preservatives, and unnecessary antibiotics, because he believes they disrupt the balance of our gut bacteria.
So it's about creating an environment where those beneficial microbes can flourish.
He's even made some intriguing observations about how a thriving gut microbiome can actually affect the color of your urine, sometimes turning it green. Not something you'd typically associate with good health.
Definitely not your usual health tip.
He also suggests trying locally produced fermented foods when you travel to diversify your microbiome even further.
He sees it as a culinary adventure for your gut.
Yeah.
Now prepare yourself for this next one. Dr. O'Mara is a big advocate of extended fasting. We're talking 72 to 96 hours, multiple times a week.
I know, it sounds intense. He believes it promotes autophagy, which is like your body's spring cleaning process at the cellular level. He sees it as key to longevity because it allows your body to clear out damaged cells and regenerate.
Autophagy is definitely a hot topic in the longevity world, but it's important to note that this kind of extended fasting is an advanced practice that Dr. O'Mara built up to gradually. Listeners, don't try this at home without proper guidance and medical supervision.
Absolutely. Now let's shift gears to exercise. Forget those long, slow cardio sessions. Dr. O'Mara is all about sprinting.
Interesting. Why sprinting in particular?
He believes it's the most effective way to combat visceral fat and manage stress. He explains that sprinting triggers a powerful hormonal response, boosting muscle growth and fat burning. It's like mimicking the natural stress response of our ancestors fleeing predators.
That makes sense from an evolutionary standpoint. Short bursts of intense activity were crucial for survival.
And he believes that this type of exercise, even in short bursts, is more effective than spending hours jogging or on the elliptical. It's all about intensity and efficiency.
So quality over quantity when it comes to working out. I like it.
And it's not just about diet and exercise. Dr. O'Mara also stresses the importance of stress management for reducing visceral fat. He has a unique way of putting it.
Okay.
Find work that you love, or as he says, hunt well.
Love that.
It speaks to the idea that our work shouldn't be a constant source of stress and drain on our well-being. We're meant to thrive, not just survive.
Absolutely.
He even shares this heartwarming story about his son, Aiden, who wrote his college essay about how his father's health practices inspired him to live a healthier lifestyle from a young age.
That's fantastic. It shows how powerful a parent's example can be. Clearly, Dr. O'Mara walks the walk, not just talks the talk.
He's a living testament to his own philosophy. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to unpack when it comes to Dr. O'Mara's insights.
We've got a lot more ground to cover in this deep dive, including some of his surprising observations about lesser-known health indicators.
We're continuing our exploration of Dr. Sean O'Mara's unconventional approach to health and longevity.
And we're just getting warmed up. Last time we talked about the hidden dangers of visceral fat, his unique dietary philosophy, and his love of sprinting. But he doesn't stop there. He's also got some fascinating insights into lesser-known health indicators.
He really goes beyond the standard metrics like weight and cholesterol, doesn't he?
He does.
He encourages people to pay attention to the subtle signs that their body might be sending.
Exactly. For example, he believes that something as seemingly insignificant as skin tags could actually be a red flag for underlying health issues.
Skin tags. I always thought those were just harmless little bumps.
Most people do. But Dr. O'Mara sees them as potential warning signs that the body might be struggling in some way. It's about tuning into those little details that we often dismiss. He's all about connecting the dots and looking for patterns, isn't he?
Absolutely. He's also observed a connection between visceral fat and facial changes. As people lose visceral fat, he's noticed they tend to regain a more youthful appearance.
So it's not just about feeling healthier, it's about looking healthier too.
He even shared before and after photos of himself to show how his own face transformed as he adopted a healthier lifestyle. It's pretty impressive.
That's a powerful visual. It really drives home the point that our internal health is reflected on the outside.
And here's another surprising indicator he points to: spider veins. He believes they could be a sign of poor circulation and overall health, potentially related to low nitric oxide production.
Now, nitric oxide is a molecule that plays a crucial role in relaxing and widening blood vessels. It's essential for healthy blood flow.
Exactly. And Dr. O'Mara recommends things like sprinting, getting sunshine, sauna therapy, and even fasting to boost nitric oxide levels. He believes these activities can improve those visual markers like spider veins.
It's interesting how he links these seemingly unrelated things. But when you think about it, they all tie back to improving circulation and blood flow.
He also talks about something he calls invisible pulses.
Invisible pulses? What does that even mean?
He's referring to the fact that as your blood flow improves, you might actually start to see your pulse more prominently in certain areas, like your wrists or neck.
Wow, that's a pretty dramatic sign of improved circulation. It's like your body is telling you that things are working better.
Right, and it goes back to that nitric oxide connection. He believes these visual cues can be incredibly motivating because they provide tangible evidence of progress.
It's like a built-in reward system for making healthy choices.
He also talks about skin turgor, which is a measure of how quickly your skin bounces back after being pinched. It's often used to assess dehydration. But Dr. O'Mara has noticed that skin turgor also tends to improve as people lose visceral fat and improve their overall health.
So it's another subtle sign that things are moving in the right direction.
Exactly. He believes these visual markers can be more powerful motivators than just looking at numbers on a scale or a blood test. It's about connecting with your body and noticing those positive changes.
Now let's circle back to his dietary recommendations. We touched on his emphasis on lean, grass-fed meat, but he also has some strong opinions about fat. I'm curious to hear his take on this, given the ongoing debates about fat in the nutrition world.
He's not against fat, but he's very particular about the type of fat he recommends. He makes a distinction between the fat found on a healthy, grass-fed animal and the fat found on a grain-fed animal.
Interesting. What's the difference according to him?
He believes that the fat on a grain-fed animal is more likely to be inflammatory because of the animal's diet and lifestyle. He actually shows images of different cuts of meat, comparing the marbling and fat distribution.
So it's not just about the amount of fat, but the quality of the fat based on how the animal was raised.
He even uses a striking analogy to bring this point home. He points out that when humans eat a diet high in processed carbs and sugar, we develop a similar kind of marbling in our own bodies. He calls this human marbling.
That's a powerful image. It makes you think twice about what you're putting into your body.
And he's adamant that this human marbling is a sign of disease, just like the unhealthy marbling we see in grain-fed animals. He recommends choosing lean meats from animals raised on pasture, like certified Piedmontese beef.
That's a helpful tip for listeners who are looking for healthier meat options.
Now, Dr. O'Mara doesn't just focus on physical health. He also recognizes the importance of mental and emotional well-being. And he has some intriguing ideas about how our thoughts and emotions can directly impact our physical health, especially when it comes to visceral fat.
It's all connected, isn't it? We talk a lot on the show about the mind-body connection and how important it is for longevity.
He's observed that chronic stress is a major contributor to visceral fat accumulation. Even if people are eating well and exercising, they can still struggle with visceral fat if they're constantly stressed out.
That makes sense. Stress hormones like cortisol can wreak havoc on our bodies, leading to weight gain, inflammation, and a host of other problems.
And remember his advice to hunt well. That ties in perfectly here. Finding work you love, work that doesn't constantly stress you out, is a huge part of managing stress and protecting your health.
It's about finding your purpose and pursuing it with passion, rather than feeling trapped in a job that drains your energy and steals your joy.
He also has a fascinating perspective on how our modern lifestyles have deviated from our evolutionary programming. He believes our ancestors were constantly engaging in intense bursts of activity, followed by periods of rest and recovery. Hunting, gathering, protecting themselves from predators. It was a demanding existence.
It makes sense that our bodies would be adapted to that kind of lifestyle.
And he argues that this pattern of exertion and recovery is still crucial for our health today. We're simply not designed to be constantly stressed and sedentary.
So he's advocating for a more balanced approach to life, incorporating both intense activity and relaxation.
Exactly. And he believes exercise, especially sprinting, can help us recreate those ancestral patterns and reset our physiology. It's about working with our biology, not against it.
And he suggests that even something as simple as taking a cold shower can be a form of microstressing that activates our body's natural resilience mechanisms.
He's definitely a fan of pushing beyond our comfort zones in healthy ways to trigger adaptation and growth. He even connects this concept to the microbiome, suggesting that exposing ourselves to a diverse range of microbes through things like fermented foods and spending time in nature can help strengthen our immune systems.
It's all about diversity and challenging our bodies in the right ways, both internally and externally.
Now let's talk about a topic that often gets a lot of attention, especially when it comes to men's health.
Testosterone.
Testosterone. The hormone we often associate with masculinity, strength, and vitality.
Right. But Dr. O'Mara has a unique perspective on testosterone that might surprise you. He's not a fan of exogenous testosterone supplementation, taking testosterone from an outside source. Oh, interesting. That goes against the grain a bit, doesn't it? Isn't testosterone often prescribed to men as they age to address declining levels?
Yes. But Dr. O'Mara believes that relying on external sources of testosterone can actually hinder the body's natural ability to produce it on its own.
It's like a crutch that weakens your body's own testosterone-producing capabilities.
Exactly. He believes that by focusing on optimizing our overall health through things like diet, exercise, and stress management, we can naturally boost our testosterone levels. It's about addressing the root cause, not just masking the symptom.
That's a really important point. So what does he have to say about the connection between visceral fat and testosterone?
He's noticed that men with high levels of visceral fat often have lower testosterone levels and experience symptoms associated with low testosterone, such as fatigue, low libido, and difficulty building muscle. And one of the reasons for that is that excess visceral fat can actually convert testosterone into estrogen.
So it creates this vicious cycle. Visceral fat leads to low testosterone, which then makes it even harder to lose weight and improve health.
Exactly. And that's why he believes reducing visceral fat is so crucial. It can help break that cycle and restore hormonal balance naturally.
It's about giving your body the best chance to function optimally.
And he has some interesting thoughts about how certain aspects of our modern lifestyles can negatively impact testosterone production.
I imagine things like stress, sleep deprivation, and poor diet can all take a toll.
Absolutely. He also highlights the potential impact of environmental toxins, which he believes can disrupt hormonal balance. It's not just about what we put into our bodies, but also about what we're exposed to in our environment.
So it's about minimizing exposure to those harmful chemicals and pollutants as much as possible.
Now, when it comes to boosting testosterone naturally, Dr. O'Mara is a big believer in the power of resistance training, but not just any kind of weightlifting. He emphasizes compound exercises, which involve multiple muscle groups.
Why compound exercises in particular?
He believes they trigger a more robust hormonal response, leading to greater testosterone production. He also stresses the importance of lifting heavy weights because this further challenges the body and simulates those hormonal cascades.
So it's about working those major muscle groups with intensity and purpose.
And he also highlights the role of recovery in testosterone optimization. You can't just constantly push yourself without giving your body time to rest and rebuild.
Makes sense. Recovery is often overlooked, but it's essential for any kind of fitness or health regimen.
He emphasizes getting enough sleep, managing stress, and eating nutrient-dense foods to support testosterone production.
It's about supporting your body's natural processes through a holistic approach.
He even suggests that certain supplements can play a role in supporting testosterone levels. He's mentioned things like zinc, magnesium, and vitamin D.
Those are all essential nutrients that are often lacking in modern diets.
But he always stresses that supplements should complement a healthy lifestyle, not replace it.
It's about optimizing the foundation first and then using supplements strategically.
And before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I have to share one more intriguing observation from Dr. O'Mara. He's discovered a connection between nitric oxide production and male sexual health.
Oh, intriguing. We talked about nitric oxide and its role in blood vessel health. How does it relate to sexual function?
He believes that boosting nitric oxide levels can improve erectile function and overall sexual vitality.
That makes sense, given that erections rely on robust blood flow.
And remember, all those activities he recommends for increasing nitric oxide.
Yeah.
Sprinting, sunshine, sauna, fasting, they all come into play here.
It's amazing how these simple lifestyle factors can have such a profound impact on multiple aspects of our health, including sexual well-being.
He even has a funny anecdote about how his own urinary flow improved dramatically after he started focusing on his health.
Okay, maybe we can skip the details on that one, but it definitely highlights the point that these seemingly small changes can have ripple effects throughout the body.
He's a big believer in those tangible, unexpected benefits that come with optimizing our health.
There's so much more to explore in Dr. O'Mara's world.
We've been on quite a journey with Dr. Sean O'Mara, exploring his unique perspective on health, aging, and longevity.
It has been a fascinating deep dive, hasn't it?
It really has.
From the hidden dangers of visceral fat to the power of sprinting and the importance of hunting well, Dr. O'Mara has certainly challenged some conventional thinking.
He has. And in this final part, we're going to explore one of his core concepts, diseasing. It's his term for that gradual decline in health that we often just accept as part of getting older.
So he's not buying into the idea that aging has to be a downhill slide, right?
Right.
He believes we can age more vibrantly and avoid many of the health problems that we associate with getting older.
Exactly. And he believes a lot of this diseasing comes down to the mismatch between our modern lifestyle and our evolutionary programming. Our ancestors were constantly on the move, facing physical challenges and relying on their bodies in ways we rarely do today.
We've become so sedentary, surrounded by processed foods and bombarded with stress.
Right.
It's no wonder our bodies are struggling.
He argues that this mismatch is a major contributor to the chronic diseases that are so prevalent today.
So how do we bridge that gap? How do we get back to a way of life that aligns with our biology?
Dr. O'Mara believes we need to get back to basics. Prioritize real whole foods, move our bodies regularly and intensely, and find ways to manage stress effectively. He sees sprinting as a particularly powerful way to mimic those ancestral patterns of exertion and recovery.
It's about challenging our bodies and minds in healthy ways, pushing ourselves out of our comfort zones, and it's about giving our bodies the right fuel and the time to recover and rebuild.
He also points out that we've become far too reliant on external interventions to solve our health problems. Things like medications and supplements.
That quick fix mentality.
Yeah.
We want the magic pill instead of addressing the root cause of the issue.
He encourages people to shift their focus from disease management to health optimization, becoming active participants in their well-being rather than passive patients.
It's about empowering ourselves to take control of our health destiny. And that includes paying attention to those subtle signs that our bodies are giving us. Those things we discussed earlier, like skin tags, spider veins, and changes in skin turgor.
Right, those little whispers.
Yeah.
He wants us to tune in and be more aware of those early warning signals before they become major health crises. It's about taking a proactive approach to health rather than waiting for things to go wrong.
He's really challenging us to change our mindset, isn't he? To see health as something we actively cultivate, not just something we take for granted until it's gone.
Absolutely. And I love that he emphasizes the adventure of it all. It's not about following a rigid set of rules. It's about exploring and experimenting to find what works best for you. He wants people to find joy in the journey of optimizing their health.
That's such a refreshing perspective. It's not about deprivation or punishment. It's about discovering what makes you feel truly alive and vibrant.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Dr. O'Mara's world, what are some of the key takeaways that our listeners can start applying to their own lives?
Well, first and foremost, it's understanding the dangers of visceral fat. It's not just a cosmetic issue. It's a serious health threat that we need to address proactively.
And it's not just about losing weight. It's about improving body composition and reducing inflammation.
We learned about the power of lifestyle interventions, particularly Dr. O'Mara's emphasis on a diet rich in lean protein, fermented foods, and minimizing processed carbs and sugars.
He also reminded us of the importance of incorporating intense exercise, like sprinting, into our routines. And let's not forget the power of finding work we love, managing stress, and getting enough sleep.
It's about taking a holistic approach to health, addressing all aspects of our being, physical, mental, and emotional. And it's about being attuned to those subtle signs that our bodies are giving us, those little whispers that something might be off.
It's about becoming active participants in our own health journey, making empowered choices, and taking ownership of our well-being.
If Dr. O'Mara's insights have sparked your curiosity, and if you want to keep exploring fascinating topics like this one, be sure to visit 1337podcast.com for more deep dives. We've got articles, interviews, and even links to some of the studies he mentions, so you can delve deeper into the science behind his recommendations.
Remember, this is your journey. Experiment, explore, and find what works best for you. Embrace the adventure of optimizing your health and discover the incredible potential that lies within you.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
See you next time.
Strength and honor. I am Spartacus.
Thanks for watching. Tap into 1337podcast.com.